Welcome back, everyone, to yet another Battleborn video. Today's topic is Battleborn, or does Battleborn have enough content? I keep seeing this come up, and people discussing the price and the quote-unquote lack of content in this game, and I wanted to make a video talking about it, because I kind of disagree on those points. So, point one, I keep hearing people say, this has got a hefty price tag. This game is expensive. $60 has been the standard price for a AAA game for a really long fucking time now. I don't know how the average price of a AAA game is now expensive or big. That's just what games cost. You can argue maybe that needs to come down, but unlike many forms of entertainment and mass media, it's been staying relatively consistent. You know, back in the day before the digital music revolution, we saw CD prices just keep creeping up and up and up to the point where people kind of stopped buying them and piracy took over. We've seen the same thing in movies, where ticket prices every year just kind of bump up a little, bump up a little, bump up a little, and pretty soon, to take a family to a movie, it's $100. And then they complain, why aren't people going? But the price of video games has relatively stayed the same. And if you're unsure on a game, at least on the PC side, you can wait 3 to 6 months and almost always get it half off or more. So I just don't understand that argument and where it comes from. Now, you can complain about the amount of content for $60, maybe, but calling $60 expensive is just something I don't agree with. If the game was $80 above the average price of a AAA game, I would get that. But I don't understand calling average expensive. I don't know how long this trend has been going on. If it's new, I'm just catching on to it and seeing it, but I don't know. It seems silly or odd to me, and just poorly framed arguments. Now, getting away from the price and just going into content, that's another thing. A lot of people are complaining about the content. This game does not have enough to play. And when they reference that, they always talk about how short the story campaign is, or PvP mode doesn't have enough modes or maps. But they don't talk about the characters. And in this game, the characters are a massive amount of the content. Content is not just campaign length or PvP modes and maps. It is also what you use to play those maps. Borderlands is, a comparison, but Borderlands was a game built for a long campaign that you repeated 3 times over with 4 characters, and would get kind of redundant for a lot of people. But this game was built for replayability with short missions. They were upfront about that. But 25 characters with skill trees. This is something we've never really seen in a shooter before. Some may say, oh, well, League of Legends has all these people. League of Legends on launch had less than 25 characters. And that's not a shooter either. Overwatch has 21 characters. And those characters don't have skill trees. And let's also be honest, even their basic skills are kind of lame compared to Battleborn. I was playing their cowboy type character, and one of his specials was a roll. Yeah, that's right, a fucking roll. A roll is on cooldown. Big fucking deal. I don't care about that shit. So those characters are so much more shallow than these characters. I mean, Battleborn has generally 25 very unique characters with a very big gear system. And that is content. Battleborn's been over 4 years in the making? It didn't take them over 4 years just to make 14 maps. It took them that long to make all the characters. And a new game. Someone today talking in the forums was comparing it to Halo 3. But Halo 3, you have 1 character. Yeah. 1 character, and you don't have the progression with that 1 character that you did with these characters. So, yeah. Battlefront's one that recently came out that people complained about content. And while I didn't do a review of that game, I played the beta a little bit, and I was very disappointed that I'm not buying it because every character was kind of the same, and every gun was pretty much the same. There was very little even differentiation with the guns. You could get like a cool sniper that's on cooldown, but it was on cooldown, and that's fucking lame. It also had a lack of like real map variety, and yeah, and that game has issues with content, and it didn't have a campaign, and like there's a game I agree on it with. It was beautiful, it looked great, the controls were tight, but there was little variation in actual play. Battleborn has these massive amount of characters. Again, no other shooter that we've ever seen has really had this kind of variation combined with skill trees and upgrades and all this stuff. And that is in itself content. And you are paying for that content, and it was not cheap to develop that content. So I guess just please, if you're talking about does Battleborn have enough content in it, please talk about more than just the maps, because there's more to this game than just the maps. And yes, I wish there was more story modes. Yes, I wish there was more PvP and campaign modes, or PvP maps and modes, but you know what? Guess what? Those are coming. Some of them are behind a DLC, but I think the DLC is very fairly priced in this. Well, yeah. A story mission is really what you're buying. Story mission skins and taunts for $5. The characters are free. That's awesome. Now, if you buy the season pass, which I did, $5 for a new story campaign that I can play over and over again with 25 to 30 characters by the time the first 5 are out. Probably more since then. With some new skins and taunts, I'm good with that. $5 is not a lot of money. And I'm happy with that. So I guess the next part is value. Where do you value this? Now, right about the time I'm recording this, I should have checked on Steam, but I think I'm around 50 hours on the game. And that's in 2 weeks, so like 25 hours a week. That's pretty damn good for me, I think. I'm not nearly done with this game. I'm going to be playing it a lot more. But I kind of look at value compared to, I guess, playtime. And compared to other forms of entertainment. I just went to go see Captain America Civil War the other night. I paid $11 for my ticket. And then I was at the Bistro Theater that we have around here. And, I had some food there, had a beer, and that came out to $20. So I ended up paying $31 to see a 2.5 or almost 3 hour movie. I forgot how long it is. Let's just round up to 3 hours with all the previews and shit beforehand. That's about $10 an hour. And I don't feel ripped off by that. I love the movie. I'm actually going to go see it again tomorrow. Although it's $5 Tuesday. $5 movie days rock. So if I buy a video game for $60 and I know I'm going to get at least 300-400 hours out of it, I'm pretty damn happy because that's pretty cheap. One of my friends once kind of told me he goes by the rule of a $1 an hour. And that's more for like your little crappy indie games and stuff. I shouldn't say crappy, a lot of them are really awesome. But your kind of cheaper indie games, if a game's $10, if you just buy them all up, you're going to spend a lot of money. But if you just ask yourself, do I think I can get 10 hours out of this game? Yes, no, well then buy it or not, based on that. If I buy a $60 game, I'm going to be honest, I hope I get more than 60 hours out of it. But if I get a couple hundred hours out of it, that's pretty damn good. There's like this new expectation. If I'm going to spend this massive amount of money, and $60 is not that much money, on a game, I need to get at least 3,000 hours out of it. That's to me is absurd. I got that out of like Borderlands 2, but Borderlands 2 to me is the exception and is not the rule. There's not a lot of games that I'm going to get thousands of hours into. If I can get a couple hundred hours for $60, that's pretty damn good. I'm pretty happy with that. That's cheaper than most forms of entertainment out there. I live in Wisconsin. We go to the bars a lot. You don't want to calculate your dollars per hour of entertainment out of a night of drinking. That's going to be very scary, very scary stuff. Music, if you listen to the same stuff over and over again, you can get a lot of good value out of. But a lot of forms of entertainment are much, much more expensive than video games in the long haul. So I'm completely fine paying $60 for a game if I'm pretty sure I'm going to get 300 hours out of it. Even 200. That's good. That's less than 50 cents an hour. At 120 hours, I'm at 50 cents an hour. That's dirt cheap. 50 cents an hour is nothing. So, yeah, that's kind of my take on it. I don't know where you guys stand on this, but I'm going to leave the video here. Let me know, though, in the comments below. If you have not subscribed, please do so. Follow me on Twitter. Come over to the Discord and join the Discords I have linked below. You can find me and talk to me there. I'm very easy to get a hold of there. And that is it for today. Thanks for watching once again, and I will see you all later. Bye.